The Katamari series of games are some of the craziest, most colorful games out there. In these games, you play as the prince, who under the command of his father, the king of all cosmos, must roll a ball called a Katamari that picks up all sorts of items and progressively gets bigger and bigger until eventually it gets thrown up to space and becomes a star. The items that you can pick up range from tiny things like candies all the way to entire planets. One of the biggest appeals of this series is the absolute power trip that you can go on as you hear the screams of the people that you pick up. Which has got me thinking, if we were ever to see a Katamari rolling around in our vicinity, how could you survive it? Before we get into how to survive a Katamari, we must ask though, is getting rolled up by one even lethal? Well, a person that is picked up by a Katamari continues to be crushed by larger and larger objects that get layered on top of them, until eventually the whole thing gets thrown into space and collapses into a star. Nothing about this process would hint at it being anything less than lethal. And yet, we see several hints throughout the games that it might not quite be that way. For one, there's all the cousins that we can pick up, who after getting rolled are not only perfectly fine, but they become playable characters. Then we have the king himself, who is actually pleased to be picked up, that weirdo. Though all of them could be explained away as being part of this weird cosmic race that has an attunement to the Katamari. When we look at the human experience of being rolled up, people run away from you and scream when picked up. However, it seems that humans are somehow okay in the end too. The biggest example is that, when we pick up the sun using the earth and we love Katamari, the king is worried about all the people, but according to him they say that they were doing well and are fine. Somehow. Ultimately, the Katamari series is meant to be a happy, cheery time, and officially having it be that you're murdering everybody in your way would really sour the vibe. However, for the purposes of this video, we will be operating under the assumption that getting rolled by a Katamari is at the very least a very traumatic experience that we will be trying to avoid. In this video, we will only be taking into account the information given to us in Katamari Damacy and We Love Katamari, as not only are they probably the most beloved games in the entire series, but they are the two that as of making this video are most readily accessible to play on a wider range of current platforms. Without any further ado, let's get rolling! Tip number 1. Clean your room. The more stuff that you have lying around your room, the more things that a Katamari will be able to pick up, and thus the higher the chance that you'll eventually be added to that list. If there are no things laying around that are small enough for a Katamari to pick up, then it won't be able to grow at all. So make sure to keep any space you are in as neat as possible. Food clutter in particular is dangerous to keep around, as it can attract mice, bugs, and other small critters that mean more things that a Katamari could potentially clean up. I mean, in terms of hygiene, you wouldn't want an infestation anyway, but Katamari safety is a pretty good reason to keep tidy as well. Tip number 2. Act fast, act early. In the games, nobody really does anything to stop the Katamari. Whether this is because the people are ignorant to what is coming for them, or because they have the survival instincts of a peanut, is yet to be seen. However, if you're watching this video, you probably have good survival instincts, and you will absolutely have the knowledge as to what to do. A Katamari is much easier and safer to stop the smaller that it is. And as such, if you ever see one of these rolling around near you, you must act immediately to stop it. You must seek to contain the Katamari through any means possible, whether that is putting it inside a box or even holding it above the ground. You will absolutely piss off whoever's attempting to roll that thing, but hey, at least you'll be safe. A much less effective action you can take against a Katamari, but still useful in certain situations, is to attack it, for example, by kicking it. This will knock a few items out of the Katamari, making it smaller and giving you some extra time to escape. This is particularly helpful in a situation where a smaller loved one, such as a pet or a child, has been rolled up, as they can be freed and be able to run away. Or, you know, you can just run away, you selfish monster. Tip number 3. Be tall and or fat. Avoiding being rolled up by a Katamari can often come down to small size differences, so that means that being as big as possible is going to buy you at least a couple of seconds of getaway time before you're in danger. The tall and fat counterparts of people always need a bigger Katamari to pick up. The in-game item description for the chubby housewife reads, "The bigger she gets, the more powerful she becomes." And that's damn right. So remember, if anybody ever tries to shame you for being fat, you can laugh at them in the knowledge that if a Katamari were to be going after us, they would be getting rolled first. Tip number 4. Team up. While individual enlargement will definitely help you be safe from a Katamari for a bit longer, teaming up is much more effective at giving you protection. We can see, for example, that there are items such as a killer move or the human tower, where more than one person joins forces to help each other avoid the Katamari for longer. For this, holding hands won't cut it. You must become one to avoid the Katamari. Some ideas for this include group hugs, tying yourselves together, or spinning around endlessly while you hold the other person by the legs. At that point, they might actually prefer the Katamari though. Tip number 5. Stay inside. A Katamari is unable to open doors. It is certainly difficult to do so when you don't have opposable thumbs, or hands, or any extremities really. As such, a great way to stay safe is to put a large enough door between you and a Katamari. If you lock yourself inside something much bigger, the Katamari is going to struggle a lot more to be able to get you. Take this dog and cat in this underwater level, for example. They drove their car off a cliff and into the bottom of the lake. Are they okay? Probably not. I don't think that they quite have the appropriate gear to stay underwater for long. But hey, as long as they stay in the car, there is absolutely no way to be able to roll them up, and that perfectly illustrates my point. While a building is generally going to be significantly larger and thus take a much bigger Katamari to roll, if you're inside a building, there's nothing that you can do but have a mental breakdown and say your goodbyes while you wait for the Katamari to eventually get around to picking up your whole building. Instead, you want to get inside a vehicle and try to book it as far as possible to be able to run away from it. A Katamari isn't fast. I mean, the little guys rolling these things around are like an inch tall. But just like an immortal snail, if you stay still for long enough, a Katamari will get you sooner or later. Tip number 6. Aerial travel. If you're getting inside a vehicle, as you should, then the absolute best kind you can choose is air travel. This tip goes beyond just size and speed, but it also exploits one of the Katamari's greatest weaknesses. It is unable to jump. For a Katamari to be able to pick up a flying object, it must not only be big enough to pick it up, but it must also be tall enough to pick it up. This means that a Katamari's diameter needs to be the same as your altitude to be able to pick you up. On the low end, a commercial flight cruises at an altitude of 30,000 feet, or about 9 kilometers, and as long as you're in the air, you're gonna be good. And if you're dealing with a Katamari big enough to pick you up at that height, well, you're still gonna be a lot faster on a plane. You might end up crashing into the ocean when you inevitably run out of gas, but hey, you managed to not get rolled up. Tip number 7. Move to the Vatican, Antarctica, or Russia. Yes, I'm being serious. Although your mileage may vary on this one. Both Katamari Damacy and Wheel of Katamari have a level where you roll around on top of Earth, rolling up entire countries. Though they are essentially the same level on both versions, the balance of each of them is a little bit different, so this tip varies accordingly. In Damacy, even the largest countries are relatively easy to pick up, so you want to hide in a country that is tiny and easy to miss. That means that the Vatican would be your best bet for safety, if you don't mind endless Gregorian chanting. Wheel of Katamari's version of the level does kind of fix things back to the natural order of things by making the largest territories actually take some skill to be able to roll with its much tighter time limit. So Antarctica and Russia tend to be the countries that I have the hardest time rolling up, and for the most part I am not actually able to roll up either altogether, so I guess they're safest in this one. Oh wait, did I mention that this level has a giant meteor about to crash onto Earth? Tip number 8. Leave Earth. Here's the thing. The Earth itself can be used as a Katamari. And not only that, but it is then used to roll up the entire solar system, including the sun. At that point, is it really worth trying to run from a Katamari? Just think about all the things we've had to do to run from a Katamari. And for what? Doesn't it feel good? You can run, but you will sooner or later run out of places to hide from a Katamari. A Katamari is eternal. A Katamari is joyful. Embrace the Katamari. Join us. Embrace the Katamari. We love Katamari. We love Katamari. We love Katamari. Thank you all for watching this video. I figured I'd start this channel with something a little bit unhinged, and I love the Katamari games, so I figured it would be a fun idea, especially with Once Upon a Katamari coming out soon. I do have a lot of other things planned coming up, so if you like this, consider subscribing to see what else is coming. I've been wanting to make stuff on here since forever, and I am excited to make a ton of different types of videos. Until next time, I am Linux, and I hope you have a great day.